All right, this is a trade recap for Monday, May 12th, 2026. Getting caught up on these. And I don't remember which one this was. This one, I believe, was number 8 for phase 5 of One and Done. Pretty simple one. And we'll go ahead and get into it here in a second. But if you're new or struggling with day trading and you're trying to figure out how to do it on a professional level, I highly recommend you get a coach. For me, that is Pat Mitchell over at tricktrades.com. Go over there, check out the site, read up on the service. He's been at this for over a decade now. Pat knows his stuff, and the only way to really understand it is to see it happening in real time. But yeah, I mean, he proves it day in, day out. With that being said, he also has a YouTube channel, so you can check out his trade recaps and all the other videos he has done. He has over 1,700 videos on his YouTube page. You can find that at Trick Trades as well. And you'll see that the quality of his information is top-notch, and he knows exactly what he's talking about. Now, with that being said, go ahead and jump into this one. Monday was pretty straightforward, quick. Kind of like how it played out was more or less. Well, I guess if you're new here, kind of the way this all works is we only trade SPY and Qs. So what you see here on the top row, that's SPY, bottom here row is Qs. These blue levels you see are the levels picked by Pat starting the night before, and then he refines them the morning of and builds a trade plan around them for us. And then these do not move for any reason, and that is exactly what we trade day in, day out, and we do not deviate from that. Now, on Monday, opening up on SPY in between these two levels right here, Qs had wider levels. So we were just going to wait to see what was going to trigger first, even though it kind of, again, looked like SPY might, but again, Qs could have popped into, again, its upper level just as easily. So that's what we did. We just watched and we waited. So it's my entries. So we ended up taking SPY because that's what triggered first. So at the open, even though we had tested it in pre-market, came up to the upper level, tested that, rejected it, came down into it. When it got close, entered with just one, and paid myself out in a first reaction. Could have waited a little bit, been a little more patient, and that's kind of something Pat has been talking about, is that having a plan for everything, and this is kind of the result of not having a plan. When you just pay on that first reaction, okay, that's okay. But small things, you also have to pay. You have to plan your entries and your exits. So that's one thing that I'm trying to do better with, instead of just, again, pulling things off when it's kind of at random. So lesson learned there, and that's something I'm trying to incorporate along with cleaning up my execution timing. So that's pretty much how this one went. Motions were good. Calm the neutral state. Can't really think of anything that really happened during the trade session that stuck out in my mind. I'm really trying to be focused, like I said, on execution timing, because that seems to be where things are kind of going awry for me, or they're messy. And it's not just, I would say, the initial execution in terms of starting a position. It's, I would say, heavily around the adding and averaging. It's adding and averaging with the appropriate amount of size at the right time to correct the average in the right way to, again, make these trades work to their higher potential. And looking back at prior trades, it's one of those things I can see that because of the way I entered those trades and not as precise as I should be, it's, I don't want to say leaving money on the table. That's the wrong way to look at that, but it's one of those things where It's basically what was the difference between what we call a scratch trade versus a actual profitable trade. So it's one of those things where getting that figured out is kind of where I feel or believe the next step forward for me is. And with Pat, again, like he's been talking about it and the approach of it, it's one of those things where definitely going to do better there. Now, just quickly back in the charts, as you can see, as I said before with Pat's trade plans, they generally work. Q's popped up. That worked as well. Q or SPY came down to the Tesla's level again. Worked there and even worked there again. Then as it sliced through, came back up, had bumped and again failed because we were looking at this level both long and short. So as usual with Pat's plans, they're spot on and there's multiple opportunities and you just have to do your job and I have to do my job. And that's how this works. All in all, even though it was a small trade, nothing wrong with that. P&L was $9. So, but again, small things where, again, there was a reason why it was that. That being said, that is more or less all I have for this one. So like I said before, if you're looking for a high-level coach and mentor, Pat Mitchell over at Trick Trades is the one you want to be learning from. Check the description below if you would like to save a little bit of money on your first month of membership and see what it's like. See if it's what you're looking for. All in all, that's it for this one. Have a good one, and we'll catch you for the next one. Later.